Alright, well, full disclosure, I'm actually filming this the same day, as the previous video, as the teaser. Didn't expect to be filming this the same day, but, the part came in early, or at least the main part that I was looking at, and it also turned out to be way easier to install than I thought it was going to be. The last remaining part I had to install was a forward assist, and it turns out my upper doesn't use a roll pin, it uses a set screw, which is... when building an AR, at least in my experience, finding out that you don't need to use a roll pin and you can use a set screw instead is... That's good stuff, because I did have to install 2 roll pins on this build, and they were not fun. It's kind of just nerve-wracking installing a roll pin, because, like, at the end of the day, a roll pin is mostly just a piece of metal that has been rolled into a pin. And it's not sealed. It's not, like, connected in any way. It's just loosely, well, not loosely, but it's just formed. So I worry that, like, if you struck it wrong, or you struck it at the wrong angle, or whatever, you should only be striking a roll pin at a 90 degree, but if you did strike it at the wrong angle, you could potentially, kind of billow out the original shape. But that's not what this video is about. I'm rambling. This is a video covering my AR build, my first build of an AR-15. I've owned a handful of firearms in my lifetime, but I've never actually built one. And I said in the teaser, I'm not entirely sure I want to call it a build per se, because realistically, a lot of the times that people are building ARs, they're really just assembling a collection of parts. And without any kind of machining or like precision fitting or anything like that, like I just don't know that you can really say you built it, right? But I guess, some people do, some people don't. But anywho, this is my built AR. God, that looks so goddamn good. We'll collapse the stock a little bit so we can see more of it. But, so a big motivator in starting this build was mostly actually due to the fact that I really wanted an aluminum handguard rail, and I didn't want to swap out the A2 front sight post on my M&P Sport 2. So, and mostly it's because I didn't want to mess with the gas tube. Messing with the gas tube is scary territory for me, so I didn't really want to mess with that during my build. So even on this build, I still didn't actually end up messing with the gas tube at all. I actually just did a completed upper for this build. So as far as any kind of assembly work or building of an upper, I technically didn't build my upper. So the upper came with a threaded barrel with a flash hider, or A2 birdcage rather. Came with the gas port, came with the gas tube, came already pre-tightened to the upper receiver, came with a forward assist, didn't come with a charging handle, didn't come with a bull carrier group, so, and yeah. So the part I was waiting on today was actually, or rather this week was actually the forward assist. Feels kind of gummy. I don't like that. What's it getting stuck on? I might have to check that, but that's a later problem. Just builder problems. Why is that getting stuck on? Interesting. Okay. Anywho, all right. Is it butt to stern or stern to butt? I don't know. We'll start back here. Okay, so this is the same Magpul CTR stock that we used to have on the M&P Sport 2. It still has the enhanced butt pad, which is completely negligible on a 5.56 build because there is really no felt recoil. Not a lot anyways. Maybe on follow-up shots, you know, when you're doing rapid succession, sure. But yeah, so there's CTR stock. CTR stock is on a Magpul extended buffer tube. I went after one of these for two reasons. One is going to be the obvious one, which I've stated in the past, and I will continue to state probably as long as I'm building guns, or collecting guns rather, into the hobby. And it's Magpul, and I love Magpul as a company, so if I can swap out all my parts with Magpul parts, I will swap out all of my parts with Magpul parts. Which leads me to something I'm not happy about, which is the castle nut. I can't seem to get Magpul's website to let me purchase one of their castle nuts. Like, it doesn't necessarily say it's out of stock. It just says, I don't know, some weird error where it like basically kind of says it's out of stock. It's the weirdest thing, but I'll try and take it up with their customer service if I care enough. But for now, this is a KAK Industries castle nut. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I know that every single time he does a video, print, shoot, repeat, PSR, always does a little promo code for KAK Industries. Does PSR, promo code 10% off for any order, your entire order, on KAK Industries. So if you buy anything from them, and I have another part on here that's actually from, actually I have two other parts on here that are from them. Yeah, go ahead and give them, if you're doing an order, go ahead and use promo code PSR for 10% off your order at checkout. That'll support KAK Industries, and it'll support Print, Shoot, Repeat, both of which are companies I like. So if you're buying anything from them, they have some really cool flash hiders and muzzle devices. They just released a Steyr AUG tulip muzzle brake, which is pretty cool. I don't think anyone else is doing that right now. Obviously, you can get it in 5.56, and I think you can get it pretty much threaded for any barrel thread. But yeah, just cool little side shout out. So that's where my castle nut comes from. And then we've got the Magpul ASAP QD end plate. And like I said in my previous teaser video, I am not staking the castle nut just yet because I'm not done with the build. Maybe once I have a Magpul castle nut, then I'll go ahead and stake it. But until then, internally here we've got a Magpul spring, and then we've got a Aero Precision buffer weight, or buffer rather. Moving forward, we've got our Magpul K2 Plus. Yeah, MOE K2 Plus, pistol grip. The grip core is a little bottle of lube. Anytime I notice something's getting dried up or needs a little extra love, we'll toss that way. Our lower receiver here is also from Aero Precision. We've got the blank Aero Precision M4E1 lower receiver. I bought that as a blank. I didn't have any parts in it. I guess it was still at 80%, I think, because all the holes were pre-drilled and everything like that, so that was nice. And then something that's kind of exciting for me is, so a little bit of a story time here. When I first started my AR build, or rather started upgrading my first AR, I basically just threw every Magpul enhanced part into my online cart and then just checked it out, and didn't realize that my M&P Sport 2 has an integrated trigger guard. So there was no point in having this advanced trigger guard. But fast forward 3 years later, I finally have a use for it. So there's that Magpul enhanced trigger guard, aluminum, which is kind of a shame because they don't mark the aluminum with the Magpul logo here. But rest assured, you know me, that's a Magpul part. And then some of you might be eyeing this cool little device here. So we'll just go ahead and cover it. This is from HRF Concepts, and this is a expanded magwell device. It basically just offers a little bit more clearance, a little bit more lip and ramp to your magwell, so that if you're fumbling in the dark, or maybe you just suck as an operator, you can really like get your mags right in there, or hit the feed ramp and, you know, get it in there. So it's going to assist you in your reloads, which still need to be trained, which is still something I lack. But yeah, it's a nice little benefit, and it looks cool. These also are great because they work with pretty much all of Magpul's magazines, including the drum magazine. That was something I was really excited about, because when I saw something like this, I was like, oh, that's really cool, but I wonder if I could still use a drum mag. And they actually state on their website it does work with a drum mag, and I am happy to but happy to confirm it does indeed work with the D60. So that's pretty sweet. Moving on. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but we've got these takedown pins right here, right? This right here, and this right, come on, right here. These are checkered or diamond plate textured. I really like checkered / diamond plate. That's also why I went with the same pattern for my forward assist, which is being really stupid today for some reason. I'll have to check that and make sure I'm not damaging it or something. Really fixated on that, sorry. So over here, oh, sorry, these are Geisley, by the way. Ultra Duty, big bucks, takedown pins. Mostly just wanted something that wasn't like the total like normie standard, because, you know, this is my first build and I really wanted to stand out and have its like own like identity. It's still an AR-15 like any other AR-15. It's not super unique, but anywhere I can add a few style points, I'm doing so. Charging handle is Radian Raptor, which I talked about in my previous video, I thought my Chinese clone was broken, and that's actually why I ended up buying a real Radiant Raptor. But now I have a real Radiant Raptor on my build, which leads me to the BCG. This is a chrome-lined bulk carrier group by Microbest. I got it from AR15. They just did a restock yesterday, but I kind of think they probably already sold out. When I bought this one, they sold out in like 4 minutes. So it's pretty insane, like how fast these things go. But yeah, it's super sweet. Chrome PCBs are really great. I do have a phosphate extractor on there. I've been watching a lot of videos from School of American Rifle, and he had said that you don't necessarily want a chrome extractor because because chrome is so smooth that it's more likely to slip when it's trying to grab the brass. So you actually want something with a little bit more texture, or that isn't quite as smooth to grab the brass. And I think that's why there's this option of having the bolt carrier group with the nitride extractor. I think it's nitride. It might be phosphate. Either way. And then once again, we have the Magpul enhanced ejection port cover, the polymer one, obviously. This was honestly the trickiest part of the build, if I'm being completely honest. A lot of folks online will tell you that this ejection port will not work with Aero Precision upper, which is technically true. I found out the hard way. But a lot of people will also tell you that it's because the ejection port cover itself won't fit. That's partially true. So if you want this to work, because clearly I do have it working. It's working just fine. If you do want it to work, you'll have to remove some material in around this area. Otherwise, there's too much bulk of material on the ejection port cover for it to rotate properly. But the bigger issue with Aero Precision's upper, or at least the M4E1 upper, is that there is a little bit of material up in here for the detent, but not enough removed for the ejection port cover. So what will actually happen, and what was happening for me, is when I would go to close the ejection port cover, it would stay closed. And there was no way that my bolt carrier group, my BCG, would hit the detent. It couldn't clear it. There was too much material in the way on the actual upper. So it wouldn't clear it. There was too much material there. So what I did is I took a really small file and I just took where the natural detent groove already was, and I just slowly, one draw at a time, removed material, checked the ejection port cover. If it sealed and it wouldn't release, then I would get in there with a little screwdriver and release it manually. This is all without the bolt carrier group in there, obviously. And I just kept doing that until I could get the bolt carrier group to slide forward and actually activate the ejection port cover. So, now I have a working Magpul ejection port cover on my Precision, or Aero Precision upper receiver, which is great, but also totally not worth the work, if I'm being honest. And also the fact that I have absolutely damaged this upper receiver by removing that material. Yeah, not ideal. Certainly not ideal. Definitely not ideal. But that's where we're at. So Magpul ejection port cover does work on my BCG, or not my BCG, but my Air Precision upper receiver. We've got the Magpul enhanced safety, and that's actually where another KAK Industries part comes in. The mag release that came with my lower parts kit from Air Precision, because I ordered a lower parts kit from Air Precision, it wasn't quite like the right black that I would have wanted it to be. It didn't really match well. It kind of stood out. It was like a really like marred and like kind of dusty looking gray. So I swapped that out with a KAK Industries mag catch. Does that show up in there? Oh, yep, there it is. So that looks a little better. Probably doesn't show up on camera too well, but it matches a lot better than the previous one did. And then, oh god, this was kind of tricky too. So this bolt catch here, right? The one from Air Precision actually ended up being a little bit too small for the bad lever. The bad lever actually was really loose on it. And so I was really worried it wasn't going to work. Like I tried the screw, like refitting it and tightening it down and really just camming it as far as I could, but this whole thing was just super loose, and like it's still not perfect now, but that's because the bolt catch itself is a little bit loose, and that's, in my experience, that's pretty standard. The bolt catch is not exactly like a super tight part, but I got kind of creative and I decided to take a small piece of Ranger band, which is just black rubber band for the most part, cut it to size, and use it as an added bit of material for the bolt carrier or bolt catch between the bolt catch and the bad lever, and now it's tight. And because you're just camming it down with that screw for the bad lever, it's just sandwiching it basically, and it's just material to rest between the two pieces of metal. So it's great. It works. So yeah, now I have a working bad lever to hold my bolt catch. I hate doing this, but we're gonna do it. Yeah, super fun. Anywho, so yeah, there's that. This is actually an ambi safety. As you can probably, well, I don't know if you can tell actually, because I'm not sure which side is actually the default side. I'm kind of retarded that way. I literally was just doing a video and I already forgot which side is the default. I think this is not default. This is the lefty side, because there's a little set screw that attaches the other side. I was really hoping to have installed the Magpul ambi that they announced earlier this year, but they still haven't released it yet. So we've got this one instead. And then I took some paint and I painted the safe and the go. And I did that on this side as well. Safe and go. Red is dead. White is, I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. Like I mentioned before, we've got the forward assist diamond plate from Rainier Arms, which seems to work. Let me check something real quick. It works fine when there's no There's no bolt carrier there. Okay, I think I'm kind of seeing the problem. So I'm like light striking it, I think is why it's catching. But if I like really like, well, no. God, I'm so fixated on that. I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, anywho. We've got my classic fake ACOG, my Chinese ACOG, as my optic. Optics are definitely a spot where I'm like really fucking shitting the bed as far as my builds go, because we've got a Chinese ACOG and we've got Chinese front backups, or backup irons, which are not backup irons, they're backup polymers. But yeah. And also, before someone inevitably calls me out on it, this is sitting in front of the ACOG because of eye relief. If I put this little sucker back here, then I'm going to have to move this up further, which means it's going to be further away from my face when I go to look through it. And this is already a tiny, tiny eye relief. So, like, I have to get pretty damn close on the rifle in order to actually properly view through the scope. So, I don't want this any further away from me than it already is. Like, I already have to... This is as far back as it'll go. So, I would rather have this further back than have this sitting underneath of it. And if your argument is, well, if you need to deploy your backups, then they're not going to be in the right spot. Well, if you need to deploy your backups, you're already in a shitty situation anyways. So, like, and I'm going to have to remove this either way. So that's like a quick thing I'm not going to be able to do very quickly. Anyone's not going to be able to do very quickly unless they specifically train for it. Anywho, I suppose I should talk a moment about the sling. This is a Magpul MS4 QDM sling. And then it doesn't have any kind of padding on the sling, so I added this Hazard 4 Deluxe shoulder strap, which is super, super comfy and adds a lot of extra comfort to that particular sling. Moving on up the handguard, we've got the standard Aero Precision aluminum M-LOK rail. And then we've got these Magpul Type 2 rail covers. We've got these pretty much up the entire length of the handguard, on the underside and on the reverse side. And then I've got these. These are actually both the back end or front end, depending on perspective, of the hand stops from the Magpul hand stop kit. But yeah, I have both of the fanged ends on my Mossberg, on my shotgun, on my 12 gauge. So I put these on here because they are still hand stops and they do still work pretty well. But yeah, they're just a nice like way to like help me get my C-clamp, right? And then beyond that, we've got this light setup, which might not look familiar at all to you. And in fact, I told myself I needed to look up the brand before I started this video, but I fucking didn't. God, I'm an idiot. Votado? It's like on the actual device, so I'm able to squeak out something. I'll probably like put something in the link if anyone asks about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. So it's kind of unique in the sense that it's actually locked directly onto the handguard or the handrail. So no mounting equipment necessary, which is great because I personally like to keep all this stuff as close to the actual handrail as I can get it, so that, you know, there's more control and, you know, a little bit less added weight because you don't have unnecessary adapters. But this is super cool because it's also just a lot slimmer if you're looking at it than a lot of classic light setups. This doesn't protrude a whole lot. I don't know how well that comes up. So it's still not like taking up a whole lot of like horizontal space on the rifle, which is great for travel. But then it also, it's a laser light combo. So it's got a really nice green laser. I don't know if I can get that to show up. Let me just point that at myself. There you go. But then it also has a light, obviously, because it's a light. And as far as, you know, getting a WML to be good, so to speak, or be practical rather, really all you need it to do is like give you a significant amount of lumens on a significant amount of throw and not break when bullets are being shot out of the rifle. The laser probably won't hold zero or anything like that. I'm not getting my hopes up there. But it might be nice for assisting with zeroing in the future. It's also just nice to have like a general point of aim. Like, it doesn't have to be super precise, especially in like CQB kind of situations. But yeah, we've covered almost everything. So the barrel is 16-inch. I believe it's 1-in-7 twist. Yep, 1-in-7. 4150 chromoly vanadium, I believe, is the material. And this is actually an H-bar heavy barrel, which means attaching things directly to the handguard rail was kind of fussy. Particularly these pieces right in here, because the gas port is like right here. Yeah, gas port? I think it's called gas port. So on this particular M-LOK handrail, or handguard rail cover, this one down here, I actually shaved off some material off of it so that it wouldn't like directly touch the gas port. That doesn't sound right. Gas block, that's what it's called. Anywho, but yeah, so I think we've covered just about everything. The trigger, which is probably the most expensive upgrade that I installed on this whole build, and actually is what made me start this build in the first place, is a Geisley SSE, or SSAE, two-stage, super semi-auto trigger. So it's got pretty light trigger pull, super, super crisp. Yeah, very, very good part. So that's my rifle build. That is everything I have installed on it. All the little works I had to do to make everything fit together. I'm not quite sure if I'm necessarily... Oh, I forgot the goddamn muzzle brake. This is a muzzle brake from KK Industries. I'm not sure if I have it timed correctly. The flat sides are currently on the top and bottom, and I don't know that I can get it to tighten any further with the crush washer that's on it. Let me know in the comments if I'm doing that right, if there's anything I need to do differently. I think typically on these muzzle devices, the flat sides need to be on the left and right, horizontal. So I might just try and, I don't know, figure that out. I've never used a torque wrench before, and I just ordered one online the other day, so maybe I'll try and use a torque wrench. But I also know that muzzle devices aren't supposed to be torqued down past 20 foot-pounds, or pounds-foot. And I hand tightened this, and I feel like I can probably hand tighten past 20 pounds. I'm not entirely sure. I am pretty weak, but yeah, we'll see. Oh, another cool thing about the light, the charger on it is magnetic, so that's pretty sweet. So if I need to charge it, it's not, I don't have to worry about it like falling off and shit. But yeah, anywho, back to what I was saying, trying to close out of this video. This is my rifle build. This is my first actual AR build. And again, I'm not sure if it's necessarily done. Obviously, I probably need to get better optics. But overall, I'm super happy with it. I really like the handguard. It's a little bit heavy, if I'm being completely honest, because of the heavy barrel and literally just all of the goofy shit that I put on it. And I'm probably going to use a D60 in it at some point or another when I'm running it. But yeah, super, super cool rifle build that I'm super happy with. Another note on this muzzle device from KK Industries. Shout out KK Industries, shout out PSR. Use promo code PSR for 10% off at checkout at kkindustries.com. It's got holes on all sides, so I don't necessarily think it needs to be timed, which is pretty sweet. Because I suck at that. I suck at everything, actually. But anywho, I'm sure most of my audience has probably already tuned out because of the shirt I'm wearing today. But you know what? If you're still here, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for checking out my rifle build. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, go ahead and drop a comment down below. I'm pretty engaged in my viewers' comments. Pretty good at getting back to you when you ask me questions and such. So feel free to shoot a comment down there. But yeah, this has been my my new AR15 rifle build, my big boy rifle build. Still not bougie, I wouldn't say. Probably wouldn't say. Definitely still not bougie, but this is definitely more than I had before. Some people probably will still call it Poverty Pony, but this is not an Anderson lower, so meh. Anywho, that's probably enough rambling. We're coming up on 40 minutes, so thanks for hanging with me. If you've been a long-time subscriber, thanks for following along. I'm sure it's been kind of interesting to see the growth over the years, but yeah, anywho, until next time, until I'm up to some other shenanigans, stay safe and have fun. Take care.